here we have Greg Burke, who is the owner of VisitMainenet. He has just recently listed it on flipper.com. How you doing today, Greg?
I'm great, Fiona. Thanks. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Excited to learn a little bit more about Visit Maine. So I'd love to kind of get started with you just describing the story behind the business, how you came about to develop this business of over, 2 decades, and why you're looking to sell now.
Sure. Well, it was about 28 years ago that I started my marketing company, and our marketing company focused on hotel marketing, and we had 5 hotels in Maine that, when they hired us, back then they were like, well, the first thing we need is a brochure. And I would say to them, well, you need a brochure, but you need a website too. And they would say, what's a website? I was like, we're just going to do that for you. So we did, and back then our 5 hotels in Maine were 1 through 5 on Netscape and AOL, and they were killing it and doing great. But I looked around, I was like, how the other couple thousand hotels in Maine are going to figure out this internet thing someday? How will I keep my clients to be on the top of the list? I'm like, well, it's not likely that I can do that, but I noticed the state of Maine had the domain VisitMaine.com, and they were promoting that. And I saw VisitMaine.net was available, so I bought that. And we always focused the marketing on VisitMaine.net on hotel marketing to drive business to our clients. And that we built it out as a full-fledged Maine website, but the goal of the site was always to get visitors to get to the hotel site. And so we did that, and it was very effective. In fact, our business model had been to have 6 clients that we did all their marketing A to Z. We got up to 18 clients doing all of their marketing, just my wife and I. And people were still calling to get on, hotels were still calling us to get on the site, new hotels. And I got to the point where it's like, I'm sorry, you have to be a client of ours to be on the website, and we're just too busy right now. And so, because they didn't want employees, just the 2 of us. So after a couple of years of saying no to people, though, I was like, well, wait a minute, we can charge these other hotels just a little bit of money and put them below our hotels, and then it's a win-win, and they get on the site and they start getting referrals. So that's what we did. And over the last 22 years, that business took off, and we had as many as 350 hotels on the website. Wow. We never did any marketing. It was all word of mouth, people seeing it online, people like doing a Google search for Maine hotels, other hoteliers doing a search, and Google didn't even exist for a while, Yahoo search or whatever, and they'd find us. So I think I ran a report for you the other day that about 90% of them on average renew every year. We still pick up a few new ones every year, but we have not been aggressive at all ever. There was a couple of years my dad had been out of a job. The market had gone south in 2008, the real estate bubble, and he'd lost a lot of money. So he was our only salesperson for a couple of years. We hired him, and he made 100% commission for a couple summers. And just in a couple of months going on the road, one day a week, he made $20,000 a summer. Wow. And just because the product's there, and so he'd knock on 10 doors and get a sale, or 2. And but we were fortunate. We had our hotel marketing clients going. We had this business going, and a couple of others. So we just didn't need to be aggressive to grow it more. It was providing us a very comfortable income, and so we were living a good life and not trying to grow it. And so we've never really tried to grow it. It's always been organic and on its own. And in fact, you can see, and still today, 90% of the customers are organic. We've never done any. We've focused all of our marketing on our internet marketing on organic search results, and never done any black hat marketing. There was years and years where backlinks did really well, and we had some competitors that did the backlink things, and they were like keeping up with us for a while. But then one day, of course, when Google had their penguin or whatever switch that was, and they changed the rules overnight, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
backlinks were not a good thing if they weren't legitimate. We stayed right up top, and of course other businesses were out of business. So it's been a really good run of it. But my wife's a travel writer. I'm 61 years old, and it'd be nice to see the business. We'd love to see the business go into into somebody who's got the energy to make it grow again, and and take it to the next level. There's a lot of different opportunities that it could and different directions that somebody who's aggressive and more forward thinking on today's business model could bring it. My wife's a travel writer. We want to go on the road and pursue our passion at this point.
Yeah, so there's a couple of really great things that I love about this business, other than the obvious, like it's 22 years old, like that's almost unheard of these days. It's got a domain authority score of 49, which is very impressive. And it is bringing in average of $9,271 in monthly profit over the last rolling 12 months, which is at a 99% profit margin. So just describe to me a little bit about, why is that profit margin so high, and how you've kept those expenses and operating costs so low?
Well, there's really no expense to running this business. As you can see, the only expense we're listing is the credit card fees that we pay. We do have it hosted on a dedicated server. So, if you don't have your own dedicated server, you would have to pay a host probably about $50 a month to host it. Somebody else would probably pick up that expense. The next purchaser, if they don't have their own dedicated host already, they would have that expense. It's built in a PHP format, and very super simple, easy to use. It gives us generates reports for us on how many people click, and the visitors to our hotels continue to be anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 plus visitors a year. That's leads that we give directly to a hotel.
Yep.
The average leads work out to anywhere from, they're getting it from 10 cents to 35 cents a visitor is all that it's costing them to market on our website. Of course, many hotels don't really look at their stats, and we have to show them, they're too busy making beds and answering phone calls. So we have to, it helps them. We can show them that. We had 6 inns that shared their Google Analytics with us this past year. And our site does 8 to 148 times better than the state of Maine site, than other tourism sites in Maine. And so it's a good simple product. And on cost, again, there's just, you got to host a site. I guess if you wanted to go on the road and knock on doors like my dad did for a couple of years on hoteliers' doors, and you'd have a couple of dollars in gas for running around Maine and knocking on doors to let more people know about it. Yeah, a good thing to do would be to join the Maine Innkeepers Association and Maine Tourism Association, and network with those guys. We were members of those for years, but we never really attended anything, and we're not aggressive in that. But somebody could be much more aggressive and get their name out there more if they wanted to. Not something that does not have to be done.
Yeah.
In fact, the business, we were in Maine for 27 years. We moved last year to St. Augustine, Florida, where we are today. And we're running the business from here with a PO box in Kennebunkport still, and my 207 cell phone. So.
Yeah, fantastic. So still can be done wherever you are in the country. So I guess kind of handing this business on to someone else, What would you say, Greg, would be the biggest areas, like top 3 areas of opportunity for someone to scale this business, to even greater profits than what you're doing at the moment?
I think first and foremost, I think you go for the bread. The money is 90+% of our money is made on hotels right now. So to increase, go after and increase the hotels would be the first thing that I would do to try and get those numbers back up where they were. Keep in mind too, before COVID in 2019, we did over $152,000 a year, and COVID was very hard on the hotel business, and we basically gave everybody 50% off in 2020. We also moved most of the anybody that renewed that was supposed to renew in March and April, and May, right after COVID had hit, and we didn't know where the world was going. We moved all of those renewals. They used to be more spread out, but we moved them to when the revenues are coming in of June, July, and August. So that's why May, June, July are the biggest months for what where my wife and I work on average about 20 hours each a week during those 3 months. Otherwise, really, not the two of us combined don't work more than 10 hours a week, and we're on the road five months a year, where we're putting in like next to no hours for 5 months.
Wow.
So and so that's why a lot of the revenue is you can see is May, June, July. And because the hotels make their most money in Maine and in June, July, August, September. So the thought was get their money when the money's coming in, not at the end of the season, not at the beginning for most of them. So that's why it's busier then. So there's there'd be all kinds of opportunities for I don't know. There's for products, other products on the site as well, and referrals that just and sales. There could be shopping carts of Maine products and with commissions earned on. We have a couple lobster companies that sell lobsters out of state that renew every year with us. But so there's golf courses do well on our site, and we haven't gone after that at all. And you can look I posted some things yesterday on the sales sheet, some PDFs of showing how well we do with Google searches for weddings and golf and meetings and hotels. And again, it's because 22 years of focused on at the beginning it was just all about keywords, and then it was title tags, and then it was keywords and title tags, and of course it's all grown over the years and how much content there is, and mentioning the words the right number of times. We've always tried to keep up with it. Of course, there's over 100 different things that go into making a website come up number one, longevity of course being one of them that you can't buy or change. Well, you can buy it if you buy this site. There's just so much that goes into getting your site number one these days, as you know, and we've tried to keep up with most of that. So
and that's why buying something 22 years is so beneficial. But lots of opportunity there, especially with the name VisitMainenet. Like that's not too specific that it cuts you out of golf courses or lobster or anything like that. It's a very broad thing that you could include a lot of other businesses into it. So
real estate would be real estate companies. They obviously are big marketers spending a lot of money, and or retirement. There's a lot of retirement homes in Maine that could also those sections of the site could be built out further and expanded upon if somebody was so inclined.
Absolutely. So Greg, before we let you go, what else would you like a potential buyer to know and learn more about VisitMainenet before maybe something that's not on the listing, or maybe something you'd like to elaborate on further?
Sure. It's a pretty easy, the business. I mean, we'll give you the Excel spreadsheet with the list of all the customers and how much they paid. We'll give you the Word document files which is with a cover letter that we send with the invoice. So you'd have, what I do is I open up last year's cover letter and I do a save as into this year in the Word document, and put the new stats in, the new rates if they've changed, into their cover letter. I give those to my wife Heather, who enters them in QuickBooks. And so we send that cover letter out with an attached QuickBooks invoice. So the cover letter details, okay, this is how much you got from each one, how much traffic you got from each of the listings you're purchasing, and here's your invoice. And by the way, again, it was $152,000 a couple of years ago. We basically gave everybody 50% off during COVID 2020 just to keep them on board. We started to build that back up last year. We're gonna but we didn't want to increase them back all the way too much, because some of them were like, well, why is the rate going up so much? It's like, well, we gave you 50% off last year. They seem to forget that though. So
Pretty easy to forget.
yeah, they forget when you give them 50% for off, but they remember when you then raise it 10%. So we'll try and keep creeping those back up. I think that's very doable. So it's, arguably we could, if it doesn't sell right away, that's okay. We'll keep growing it back up and sell it for more money in a couple of years.
Yep, absolutely. Well, super excited to be working with you, Greg. I know that this is an industry that was hit pretty hard from COVID, and it's great to see you push through that and come out on the other end. So excited to see what we can do for you on the Flipper platform. Thank you so much for sharing some more insight today, and yeah, can't wait to see what happens.
Thank you, Fiona, and look forward to hearing from you.